here I am, 117 pounds soaking wet. I got all these big men around me and I'm beating the shit out of everybody. It is so not believable, but it was just like a little ha-ha gaga spot to fill.
Yeah, the great thing about stuff like that is when you look back at it, yes, realistically, a woman your size should not have been able to take out 3 guys our size. But back then, ECW did things like that. And even though it didn't make sense, when you look at it, it was very entertaining. It was how we did it.
Right.
And how we pulled it off that
right.
got the reaction, as opposed to some people that do things that don't make sense and then there's no reaction.
Yeah.
We put a lot of entertainment and stuff like that to, even though people knew that it could never happen, maybe there's a possibility it can, because ECW is telling that story. And that was just what we did. When you look at some of the matches that we did, oh my God, I cringe. They were
What's the worst thing? What's the worst match that you had to do that you look back and you say to myself, good Lord, this is ridiculous?
ECW?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, we had great matches, but, and I'll get to that question. What I was saying was, it was like we're sitting up there and when you look at some of the things that we're doing stuff in front of the referee, the referee's watching and it's not being a DQ. We're outside for like 20 minutes on the outside of the ring, and it's like, what the hell were we thinking? But because we made it so entertaining and because we captivated an audience the way we did, people suspended that and just didn't even think about the rules or what didn't make sense. We made them believe it at that point.
Because the other people were following the rules. The other companies were cookie cutter following the rules, and we took it outside the box and did things differently.
That's why we were the Nevada. How you say that? The rock group. Nirvana. We were the Nirvana of pro wrestling.
Right.
It's no different than Nirvana. Nirvana came when you have Motley Crue, Metallica, all these hair bands that are just killing it in the 80s, and it didn't seem like anybody was going to take them down. Then Nirvana came in and just kicked down the door and said, nope, we're breaking the rules. We're going to be sad, pissed off. We're going to tell you how we feel. Because, when you look at that type of music, you're like, oh, my God, I want to murder myself. I'm so sad, And it's like, oh, my God, it's that Seattle feel that that you always hear about. But, it was one of those things where when Nirvana did that, it just opened up a whole new door for music. And it was what we did in ECW. We kicked the door down and did the opposite of what should have been done.
Right.
But when we did it good and did it very entertaining.
And fun.
Yep.
So much fun.
I forgot what the other question was.
When you look back at your career, it doesn't even have to be an ECW, just matches that you've been a part of. You were saying, like, you look back sometimes and you say, oh my God, it's so cringe. I cringe when I think of that. Worst thing or the worst angle that you've been a part of that you look back and because there's things that I've done or clothes that I've worn that I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, where did this come from? Like, this was such a bad choice. Anything that you've ever done that you look back and you're just like, oh my God, so stupid.
TNA, a TNA match, pay-per-view, the Fish Market street fight.
Fish Market.
Remember that?
They had fish line. They had fish on ice.
Oh,
and all that around, and nothing this has nothing to do with Curry Man, who was Christopher Daniels, and Shark Boy. Loved those guys. Loved working with them. But I hated this. I don't like fish. I don't eat fish. I hate the smell of fish. And it's real fish on ice, like you're at a fish market. And of course, people picking fish up and throwing it and hitting people with it. I remember looking at Curry Man. I said, listen, do not hit me with do not hit me with fish. I said, you do, it becomes real. Do not hit me. Do not hit me at all with a fish.
What was the gimmick? Like, what's the point?
It was Vince Russo. Enough said.
Ooh. I have never, does that make sense? To go to.
Well, it wasn't. It was a regular match. But
yeah,
you were able to go outside and take the fish and hit each other as a weapon. Now that was where the rules were like, it's like a street fight. There are no rules in a street fight. You can have a regular match, but you can use weapons.
Oh my God, I would throw up.
I threw out my wrestling gear.
Oh my
I threw
God.
it out. It was that bad.
What
It
if
was that
somebody
bad.
just picked up a fish and just smacked you across the face?
Well, not Curry, man. Daniels are great, but Shark Boy forgot that I said that to him. He got caught up in the moment, and he took the fish and he
Oh,
hit me. As soon as he hit me, I went bam.
pickled them up. Oh, potato.
Oh, goddamn! I didn't hit me no goddamn fish.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to look that match up because I've never even heard of that one.
Oh, it was. I hated that match to this day. I said it was the worst match because again, I never liked it. And I remember saying something to Russo. I said, "Do we have to do this match?" Oh, bro, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, bro. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you, people are gonna love it, bro. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, you're full of shit. He goes, no, Bubba's. He goes, Bubba's. Bubba's cool with it. I looked at Bubba. He goes,
Bubba's face said it all.
yeah, and I'm just like, Russo, you're lying. I was like, this is a god awful match. Why are you
Ew.
even doing this?
How many like big fish were there? Like, did they have boxes of fish around the ring? Is that
No, you ever go to Chinatown
like
or
the fish market?
it was a fish market? You know, like the little tray, the big trays that they have, they fill it up with ice and then they put the fish on top.
Okay, so it was just like one
No,
like
they had like a whole line of it. Meaning they
oh,
had, yeah, and they had fish and all of that on there. It was bad. The smell was horrible.
did the fans like? I mean, did
I
Meltzer give you
mean,
5 stars?
shit. Listen, Nelson, he's never given me 5 stars in any of the matches.
He gives me
Not,
negative stars. So it's like,
not even in the freaking TLC match. I think we got like 2.
oh my God, terrible.
But
Terrible.
meanwhile, people still talk about those matches today, 30-something years
Oh,
later.
you guys were awesome.
People still,
please.
but so I mean, I don't know what his problem was, but hey, it is what it is. Look,
Yeah.
each his own. What you two guys may see a wrestling match and love it, and I may hate it, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna, out of 1 to 10 stars, I'm gonna go, okay, it gets a 2. It may get a 2 for me, but not everybody else should, take it as, everybody else is gonna look at it as a 2 match.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I feel like back then ECW never got like, not that it means anything, but the rating system from him. But I feel like none of our guys got a lot of stars for their matches.
Well, I know a lot of our guys didn't like him and was pissed off at him, but I also know that you're right. None of us got any of those stars. But remember, a lot of people thought ECW was barbaric.
Right.
They didn't like ECW. Even some of the veterans in WCW or WWE, I'm going to say that, WWF.
Yeah.
Basically did not know or understand what we were doing. And they would say, and a lot of them would say what we were doing was garbage. And this and that until the fans started catching on and watching and then showing their love and support. And you couldn't go to an arena that wasn't an ECW show, but it was like a WCW or WWE show where the fans would hijack the show and start chanting ECW.
Right.
It was then that people's eyes started to wake up. So, now somebody might have believed in what we were doing, but that's fine. But again, what is it, 30, 40 years ago? ECW?
No, 30, no, 40.
40.
I feel like 60 something.
Make me feel old too.
Yeah, it's not quite, but close to it.
But people still talk about it.